Alright everyone, today's the day we're going to announce our new sponsor, Roadmaster. Jim's going to be installing the Roadmaster slipper spring system that has with shocks.
Okay, well, you got 4 bolt holes, one there, and 2 on the other end. You got to drill a hole up to the frame and then run some self-tapping screws up in there. And then after you do that, your slipper spring will slide underneath this, over top of this bolt here so it can slip. And we'll do that on the front and the back. We'll videotape that. We'll also videotape putting them on the saddle and bolting them up on the front. We'll have that later on. So for now, we're going to start drilling.
Now what's the slipper spring supposed to do for the RV anyway?
Instead of being solid, it slips through there, it slides. I'll show you that when we get to that.
Okay.
Alright, there's one. We're not going to videotape drilling all these holes because it takes too long, so you get the general idea. Okay, this is what they call the slipper spring box. It mounts up to the RV. This here goes in your center spring hanger on your old springs. These here are for your shocks, for your springs. This is the slipper block, and this is the bolt that goes underneath it to hold it in place. In other words, it goes over like this right here. If I can put it, get it close. In other words, I set it down like this. Remember, we got this upside down right now. You put this in here. Of course, all these get torqued to certain specs. But as you're going down the road, this is in your outlet at the end of your axle. As you go down the road and you hit a bump, it does this right here.
It'll take out the lot of bounce. It protect your RV better?
Yes. It gives you a slide of motion. In other words,
okay.
It lets it slide in there. Helps it a lot better. It's going to make a better ride on it and everything, especially when we get the shocks on it.
And I got a film I'll put in here showing the before and after of the inside of the rig as we're going down the road. But I think this is going to be a wonderful addition to our RV and a better system. And I thank you, Roadmaster, for working with us.
But every nut on here gets torqued at certain specs. I have to look them up when I'm doing them. These here, they get put in with Loctite. They'll get Loctite put on, run up through the frame, they'll get torqued. These here, they'll get Loctite on them and they'll get torqued. All these here get torqued at a certain specs, which we'll go through that when we're torquing everything down so you know what the specs are.
And we encounter a lot of rough roads out here. Indiana's got some really bad ones. Tennessee's got some, in Kentucky.
Every state's got them.
Oh yeah.
And for those of you wondering, yes, we did pick up the metal shavings. See?
Yeah. We're using my magnet. It's called a fish magnet.
Yep.
And we use it to clamp all of our little metal shavings.
Because I don't want to pick a piece up in my RV tire and have to change it.
here's the.
This is the old suspension.
Yeah, this is
mounts
old
in the
suspension.
center there, and it rocks. And of course, you can see this one here.
Yeah.
It's got, what was it? Yeah, right here. See how it's walled die out? The bushing's gone out of here.
Yeah.
And if you look at the springs, you can tell they've lost their strength. They're trying to straighten out. They're not as arched as what they used to be.
So we could have had a major issue going down the road. Broken leaf spring, and anything.
Looks like we took off.
Yep, there's the
One
old
of the four. And here's what the new ones look like we're putting on there.
It looks a lot beefier.
Well, they got more of an arch. They're not
Yeah.
flat. Like I
These
said,
were going to have to be replaced at some point.
the nylon bushing in here wore out. The brass bushing here wore out. And you can see this hole here is wallered out.
Yeah.
See, that one's wallered out. So I definitely think it's going to make a difference.
Oh yeah. Like I said, you're going to be able to tell in the before and after video. So thank you, Roadmaster, for partnering up with our channel. Hopefully we can help people and show people what a great system this is.
The old springs have 6 in them. And see how thin they are? And this has got 5 and see how thick they are?
Yeah.
Definitely going to make a difference.
Oh yeah, those are thicker.
But we'll find out. We're leaving Friday for Pennsylvania. So we'll be able to tell if there's any difference in it or not. Which they should be.
Go.
Alright, we're getting ready to put the rear spring on. We got the other 3 on already. Thing is a little tight. But anyway, what we'll do is we'll put the spring up here. Stick it up in there for it. Move it on up. May have to let my jack down a little bit. So we'll drop our jacks down a little. Jack down. Get it a little bit more. Hang on. Okay, there we go. And the jack down until the springs lines up and go in. Back up here. Okay, now if you look in here, the spring is under the slipper block right there. And what we'll do, we'll take that, we'll raise it up, put this bolt, this shim goes in between there underneath it as a roller. Hold it, babe. Hold on a second. Take and slide that roller up in there. Put that bolt through there. Do that on it. Now this bolt here torques at 40 foot-pounds. This one here's got slipper block on, torques at 54 pounds. The center one torques at 54 pounds. The shock, the spring bolt, when you put it in, you put Loctite on it. And you tighten it down as much as you think you need to go. You gotta have a little play in there. And the U-bolts on the springs, they torque at 70, between 70 and 80. So, let's go ahead and try to get the spring in the back here. And then we'll put the U-bolts on it, and we'll start torquing everything down. That's why I don't like torquing anything down until I'm done, because I want everything lined up nice and easy, and then we'll put the torque on them. And that bolt right there, you can either drive it in with a hammer, or you can put your nut on and pull it up tight. See, like that, you just roll right in, no problem. Now that's on. Now we will jack it back up to get the center pin in the axle. Wish I gotta pull that axle back. Don't show this part. And guys, what I did, U-bolt didn't come with it, but I went and bought 8 U-bolts. 8 brand new U-bolts and 8 nuts. Because if I figure if I'm putting springs in it itself, I will put U-bolts and nuts on it. So you just get up in there and you slide it up over the axle. Take it up through the bracket there and put your nuts on them. And what I do is I snug all the nuts down with a ratchet, where they're tight, and then I'll put the torque wrench on them and torque them down. Like these here, these U-bolts torque 70 to 80. So, and something else, they say make sure you got that up against that bolt right there on the line, but that's what they say. Like I say, I try to snug them all down before I torque them. Like that right there. And I'll get these snugged. And then I'll get these here locked tight and bolted down. Put the tires back on them. Well, we'll get the shocks on them, we'll put the tires back on them. And we'll show you how to put the shocks on them too.
Where do the shocks go?
There's a hole on the back side of that hangs up there, and the shock, there's a bracket goes down there, the shock goes down there. I'll show you when we get to it.
Okay.
Okay guys, I've already got 3 shocks on. That's what the shock's angle and stuff looks like. On this one here, which I'm not going to record that, but you got a hole there that the shock bolt goes into. You got these. If I can get it. Yeah, I messed it up. I turned the camera around. Okay, these here take a shock extension. If you'll hang on a second, I'll show you that when I get it put on. Okay, we got the shock mounting bracket put there. The shock will mount down here on the bottom. We'll put a bolt up there at the top for it to go there and run at an angle like that right there. These bolts that bolt the shock on all get torqued at 55 foot-pounds, which we'll do that when we're done with everything. So now we'll get the shock put on and we'll show you the finished product. And guys, this shock's just a little long, so what I do is put a ratchet strap around it like this, up over top of the shock. And then running underneath it. Let me get it right here. I'll just do it this way. No, I like that. Alright, that's in the bolt there. We will torque this down. There's the front. It's got the Roadmaster shocks on. The other side's got the shocks on. It's all good to go. We'll get this last one torqued down. We'll be done. We'll let you know how it works.